Welcome to the Positively Portugal Football Report for round 34. My name is Howie, and it is all over. The Primeira Liga, it's over. Liga Portugal 2, it's over. The only two things that remain for this football season are the relegation playoff and the Taça Final. The playoff will be Saturday the 25th, and it's going to be Portimonense against AVS. And we're going to talk about both of these teams in just a little bit. And of course, the Sunday final of the Taça is Porto versus Sporting. Sporting is going for the domestic double and a chance to cement themselves as one of the best teams in the history of Portuguese football. But we are going to start in the Primeira Liga. What we had was Casapia 2-1 over Famalicão. Benfica and Rio Ave played to a 1-1 draw. Portimonense with a 3-1 win over Firenze. So Portimonense, they swept their derby rival this season. They took all 6 points. If you had told somebody that Portimonense was going to take 6 points from Firenze and still find themselves in the relegation playoff, you would have thought that person was crazy. But, here we are. What happened was Boa Vista was trailing for almost all of the game against Vizela, and the game just went into extra minutes and extra minutes on top of that. Boa Vista scored a 101st minute penalty to tie that game right before the whistle. And as a result, Portimonense is in the relegation playoff because Estrela won 1-0 over Gil Vicente. We also had Vitória 3-1 over Arouca. Moreirense finishes the season hot with 4 straight wins, 2-1 over Estoril. Sporting, the champion, took care of business. They beat Chaves 3-0. And Porto beat Braga 1-0. That game was very significant because had Braga won, they would have been playing in the Europa League instead of Porto. Instead, Braga finds themselves in the Conference League, and Porto remains in the Europa League. So, the team of the week in the Primeira Liga is going to be Porto. They had a job to do, and they took care of it. And the worst case scenario that could have happened was they'd be playing in a lesser tournament. So they weren't looking forward to that. Their leaders stepped up, and they salvaged what was a pretty disappointing Liga season. And this week's biggest loser, well, even though they won the game, it's indicative of a very poor season. So we got to give it to Portimonense. They're in the relegation playoff. It's somewhere that you don't want to be in. So, Portimonense on Saturday is going to play against something called AVS. I mentioned AVS last week. It's a bit of a sketchy situation, very similar to what happened with Belenenses and BSAD. We're going to talk about them in just a little bit. What's interesting here is that AVS kind of fell into this. They stumbled into it. They've only won 2 of their last 9 league games. So they're not exactly going into the playoff against Portimonense in a good form. And I really have to believe that Portimonense is going to put it together. If you remember the last month of the season, they did get a couple of draws. They obviously beat their derby rival, Firenze, again. Portimonense is playing better. It was too little too late to avoid the playoff, but you got to think that they're going to succeed in the playoff. I don't see another Estrela situation happening. Of course, Estrela won their promotion playoff last season, which relegated Marítimo. Now, Marítimo could have been in the promotion playoff this year, but they failed to beat Académico Viseu. I probably said that incorrectly. That was a 2-2 draw there, and As far as AVS goes, they lost at home to Tondela, 1-0. So, again, AVS not going into the playoff in the best situation. You got to expect Portimonense is going to keep their place, but the way the Portimonense season has gone, I mean, take nothing for granted. So, we're going to talk a little bit about who AVS is. They are AVS Football SAD. So they're another sad club, like Be Sad. So it's story time with Howie. I'm going to read this to you from Wikipedia. We're going to find out who and what AVS is. AVS Futebol SAD is a Portuguese association football club currently playing in Liga Portugal 2, the second tier of the Portuguese football league system. They are based in the town of Vila das Aves, and they play in Estádio do Cidade Aves. Founded in 2023, the club results in the renaming of former UD Vila Franquense SAD after moving to Vila das Aves. The club was founded on May 5th, 2023, after UD Vila Franquense's SAD, try saying that 3 times fast, relocated from Vila Franca de Xira to Vila das Aves due to poor stadium conditions. Vila Franquense went to the AF Lisboa District Championships, while Vila Franquense SAD, now AVS, secured their spot in the 23-24 Liga Portugal 2. The new club has no relation to the defunct Clube Desportivo das Aves or its Phoenix club, Clube Desportivo das Aves 1930, apart from the sharing of its infrastructures. And the last sentence here, the situation is similar to the Belenenses and BSAD case, which happened in 2018. So the only thing that you can take from this is AVS, whatever the hell their name is, they're bad news. And I think it's time for all of Portugal to rally behind Portimonense, even if you're a Firenze fan. This is a bunch of crap, and it's very similar to how BSAD is the most hated team in Portugal. So, yeah, let's keep AVS out of the Primeira Liga. Well, on a happier note, because nobody really wants to see this, the season is going to end in a bang. I think the Taça Final is going to be a great game. Porto's playing for pride, Sporting's playing for history, and I'm just going to sit back and enjoy it. It's going to be one to remember. So thank you all for following me through this journey of the Portuguese League season. We're definitely going to be talking about the playoff and the Taça Final next week. And if this is the kind of channel that you want to watch regularly, if you want to learn more about Portuguese football, the process of moving to Portugal, please hit that subscribe button. Subscribing to a YouTube channel is the #1 way to help that content creator. And as always, it is free of charge. And I'm going to leave you on one final note here. My New York Rangers are in the Eastern Conference Finals of the National Hockey League, and they are favored to win the Stanley Cup. So let's go Rangers! And again, thank you all for watching. Have a good one, folks.